Hello, welcome to the JAV Show. This is Jorge.
And this is Viv.
This week we got Alton on the show.
Hello.
Alton is there an introduction we need to use? Alton is a volleyball friend.
Yes.
What else is there? I mean, you're a complex person, I believe, but in terms of introduction, yeah, you're a volleyball.
That's from volleyball.
Friend. That's how we know you is from volleyball.
Yeah, that's how I met a lot of everybody is just from volleyball now.
Yeah. You're a semi-retired volleyball player.
Semi-retired.
I'm just out of commission right now because I tore my ACL again.
Yeah. So partially retired.
We'll see what happens after my second surgery.
You have to get surgery?
Yeah. So I was at the surgeon's office this past week for a consultation, and they basically said, "Do you want surgery? Yes or no?" I said yes, and they're like, "Where do you want your replacement ACL to come from?" So I was like, "Oh, allograft," which is like from a dead person.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to cadaver, because I didn't want to take it from my body again.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, can you tell us the quick story of your ACL thing? So it happened in volleyball, or?
Yeah. So the first time I tore it was landing from a spin serve, and that was just like my knee landed straight, and then it buckled inwards.
Oh.
And then at that time, I didn't know what it was because I never like seriously injured myself playing volleyball before.
Yeah. So
I was just like, oh, probably like just a bad knee sprain or something. And then I went to physio. Then I got referred to a knee specialist, and they were like, "There's a high chance that you tore your ACL." And then they sent me to the surgeon, and the surgeon like confirmed that I tore my ACL. And then from there, I got surgery the first time.
Wait, was there no pain when you?
There's pain. There's pain, like instant pain, swelling. But like I've never seriously injured myself before.
Yeah.
So I didn't know like what was the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
From that point.
When was this that you tore it the first time?
First time? I think it was like 2021.
Oh, wait, I remember. Yes.
Oh,
were you there?
I remember the like moment because you would always come to volleyball, but you would sit out.
Yeah.
And I think that's around the time when I met you and Tiff, because I would come and sub sometimes.
I think like it was when COVID was just ending and everyone was getting back into playing sports. And then it was during like a random volleyball scrim that people put together. So I wasn't sure if you were there or not.
Yes, I remember that time.
So that was the first time. And then took like a year and a bit to rehab.
Wait, so where did they take the thing from?
They took it from my hamstring graft. So
how does that work? Does that like grow back or something?
No. So like after they take it from my hamstring, it's like a chunk of your hamstring.
Holy fuck.
But like I don't understand why it's such like a large chunk, because your ACL ligament is like a really short ligament in your knee, right? But apparently they just take a chunk out of your hamstring.
How
so
big
then you
was
just
the
have
chunk?
like a smaller hamstring. How big?
Yeah, how big was the chunk?
It's not. It wasn't just for you, man. They were selling the rest.
They're like, in case we make a mistake, we got a lot to work with here.
No, they just call their buddies up. They're like, "Hey, Joe, we have another one."
You don't need to take it from yourself anymore.
I don't know if hamstring is highly sought after on the black market or not.
I mean, if it can be used for ACL, I feel like it would be, right?
Oh yeah.
They take part of it for me, and then part of it is cadaver.
Yeah.
Kobe, we got your ACL.
Dead. You mean you wish you took his for someone else?
Yeah.
So actually, with the cadaver, they don't tell you who, like the person that's donating. No, I guess donating their graft to you. Like you don't know how old they were, what ethnicity, like what they did. Like all you know is that it came from a dead person's
Do you
body.
have a preference? Like, if you could pick, if there was like a line of people,
what do you want to say? Yeah, definitely not this ethnicity.
Okay, I would want to pick somebody that was young, I guess, and healthy.
Yes,
and that probably has like strong ligaments.
Yeah.
So great genetics.
No,
genetics.
Like, okay, this might sound dumb, but wouldn't fat guys have a bit thicker ligaments to hold up themselves?
I'd imagine
like okay, 100% I would pick the athletic build person, right?
Yeah, like if I could have LeBron's ACL,
I
would take his ACL.
100%. But there's not many of them dying, I assume.
Yeah, that's
the rate of very athletic people dying is probably statistically lower than normal people.
That's one thing to take into consideration, is that like you don't know what type of quality ligament you're getting put into your knee,
right?
Especially since it's from someone that has died, right?
Yeah.
Why did you die? Because they died from running.
Fuck. Right. Right. So take out the super athletic people, and let's say there's old people, fat people, and like
just
young
regular
people.
Joes,
Can I have
man.
like young fit people?
I mean, the thing is, like, regular Joes probably won't.
You're
be
hit by
dying.
a car.
Yeah. I mean, that's rare, but I'd be questionable about that too. Like, where did you get hit by a car? You know what I mean? So, like, a regular Joe dying from natural causes must be pretty low because they're a regular Joe, right? Like,
Right.
unless they get hit by a car, but then it's also questionable, right? You know what I mean? So then you think, like, okay, what's the optimal? Like, I don't want, like, some, no offense, guys, but, like, some office guy who just, like, sits at his computer all day. And, like, you wouldn't want that, right? You want someone who's actually using it. And, like, if that office guy walks the same amount as a fat guy, that fat guy's tendon is probably stronger. Because it has to be, right? To hold up all that weight.
What if he's
Or it's
like-
worse, I don't know.
or if it's
he's
like worn
walking.
out from all the
Yeah.
walking.
True,
and
like
having to
the
carry the
walking
extra
could
weight.
potentially destroy it more.
He's in horrible pain
Right,
all the
no,
time.
that's true. Like I've always thought really big guys that are fat too at the gym, like their tendons must be crazy because they're holding so much weight and they're also
That's why
lifting.
all like fat people, their calves are way
Huge.
bigger than like a skinny person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like automatically their calf or the tendons in their leg must be growing. It must be growing in somehow because if it's the same one as the guy who looks like a stick, like they'll probably be dead, right? They'll probably break their legs.
True.
Yeah. I just don't know if that's how tendons grow.
I
Do
mean,
they? I
they
don't know.
grow with similar to muscle growth, as in like.
Really? I thought you just have to strengthen the muscles.
Yeah.
around
So
it.
so when you strengthen the muscle, the tendons I think are forced to get stronger because there's more forces on it. But it doesn't grow as fast or as predictable as muscle, right? It's like it's just like someone who's physically more fit, their tendons is gonna grow to adapt. I think so. The only thing I do know is about finger tendons. Like the more you use it and climbing,
Oh yeah, climbing.
literally the
Yeah.
thicker it'll get and the stronger
That
it'll
makes
get,
sense.
right? So then like if you go that counterintuitive or intuitively to like legs, if someone who walks more and stuff, I assume their tendons gonna be a bit stronger. And if someone who's has to hold more weight when they're walking, so
Yeah.
they like naturally have to push more just living, then their tendons are probably gonna naturally get a bit stronger.
I never thought that deeply into it when I was selecting the cadaver. I was just like, I don't want them taking out any more pieces from either my good knee or my bad knee.
Right. I'm not sure how it'll work too. Like, what if you got it from a quadriplegic guy? I mean, like you think about it, tendons is tendons, it's still the same thickness.
Ligaments should still be fine, right?
Yeah, well, I mean that's what I would assume. But if I had a lineup and I could pick, then that's a different story.
Actually, I'm kind of curious if there's people who are paraplegic, and you know how they just have the little like noodly legs.
Yeah.
If they're like, kind of feel like donating some of these organ
Like while
bits.
they're still
while they're there.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, it's
I
smart.
can make an extra $50 or whatever happens.
$50.
Yeah.
I would offer you $50 for your ACL. Yes or no?
I think it's smart. Like that's
Yeah.
just waste there. But then there's also the potential chance that future technology could fix them.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh fuck, I don't have legs anymore, so I got these stumps now.
Ah, fuck. I'm trading these for $50.
Yeah, right? Like I went from quadriplegic to fucking stump leg, and then now I fucking fixed my back and now I can walk, but I got these stumps. So I mean, I assume they have bigger things to think about in their
Their
lives. now.
bionic legs will be crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Like, okay, you could get bionic legs right now, but you have to cut off your legs. Like whoa.
Not over.
Right, like a quadriplegic, like done, right? But for
Yeah.
us,
Well,
like,
yeah.
I'm not sure, man. Like, is this Rev 1 of the bionic legs?
I think either way, it'd still be a no for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, even if you're a quadriplegic.
Oh, if I was quadriplegic, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, it's an easy yes.
You're
right?
like, no, I want to keep these.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that would be an easy yes for sure. Unless, well, like, don't they make things like to help support people that are like paraplegic, quadriplegic, so that they
Like
can
ramps.
not ramps, like
Yeah.
like
Like
something
some,
like,
like-
brace, like bionic,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
mechanical
Oh, yeah,
braces, where you like it could support you to stand up and walk.
Oh,
Yeah, but then you watch like one Iron Man movie and you're like, fuck that. You know, like you're like, fuck that. I want these fucking crazy legs here, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how I think. I was like, if I got those noodly legs and you tell me I could walk again and I have to train these noodly legs back to normal, then I'm like, I don't know,
just
man. I was like, give me
chilling
options,
again.
man.
He's saying I have to go to rehab. Fuck.
Yeah. I was like, can you call Mr. Stark up?
If I trade you this other tendon, can I get another leg?
Yeah. Right? Could you imagine they got like, could you imagine one day in the future you could like switch torso? Like, a cadaver, someone died, and you could switch torso and that could actually like get you not stronger, but like if you're quadriplegic, but if you switch torso somehow, that'll fix your back.
Like your whole torso?
Yeah. And then you see some like super scrawny white guy with the biggest, blackest legs. You're like, fuck.
I mean, if you're paraplegic or you have a spinal cord injury that caused you to be paralyzed, that's what Neuralink is actually doing right now.
Try to like bypass that and then you can use your legs.
To reconnect your spinal cord nerves together. It sends a signal down in place of your spinal cord nerve being there. And that's what their first clients are doing already.
I wonder how much atrophy's already occurred. Like, I wonder if there's a case where it's atrophied, the muscles have atrophied so much that there's no going back.
I assume so.
You know what I mean? So it's like they'll never be able to use their big toe or something like that, right? Or something, right? Like, just because it's atrophied so much that even if you try, there's just nothing that you can get back. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It just depends on that. I think that part's now genetics and whatever else.
I feel like they'd be able to gain it back. Like, it's not like your leg is like straight up gone. Like, you just lose a lot of mass on it, but it'd be no different from someone that doesn't lift or like sits all day, I feel like.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's so hard to imagine. It's like when you sit and take a shit and your legs fall asleep, and imagine that for like 20 years. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck is it anymore?
Make something out of it, dude.
Like, what the fuck is this anymore?
You want new legs?
I'm just imagining, it's like, if someone was actually a paraplegic and they didn't use their legs for like quite a while, it's kind of like, man, you like, if they gave you the option, you'd want to say yes, but at the same time, you're like, I don't know.
It'd be tough to let go.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, I have my handicap pass already. I get the front of the line, a lot of shit. Right? I mean, it's tough to say. I think for sure I would still want that option, but if there was two options, like, hey, you could fix your legs or you get these bionic legs, and I was like, how good? Like, what? How
good are they?
Yeah, like, what revision are you guys on?
They're 3D printed.
I was like, no, thanks, man. I need some hardcore stuff, not the 3D printed shit. Then I'd have to really consider that, right? Because that'd be cool. Like, do you guys think cybernetic, cyborg stuff is like a real... I mean, it's obviously a real thing, but I feel like it may have, in the public view, have delayed in advancement, but maybe it's still going crazy.
I feel like it's very far away.
Yeah.
Really?
I think so.
Why is that?
I actually have a reason for it.
Oh, like, I don't really have a reason. That's just personal feeling and like whatever random stuff I've seen on the internet. I'm like, oh, that robot doesn't do half of what it says it's supposed to do. Or like it's moving like the robot, like a robot dance.
I think the problem is there's not enough people that care. As in, like, if I told you have two options, we could spend this $2 billion to make a better AI that can help you with your stuff, ChatGPT, or I could spend this $2 billion to make a robotic arm for little Timmy. Then you're like, I don't know, man. Like, this other one seems like more useful Timmy for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, there's just not enough disabled people or like people with like, you know, missing limbs
like,
for them to like
say that, and there's gonna be someone that like, I'll handle that problem now.
No problem. Like if the Prince of Saudi Arabia got his leg chopped off, dude, we'll see bionic legs so fast. Like that technology advancement is gonna soar, right? Because he'll funnel so many trillions of dollars into that, right? But I feel like there's just not enough of a use case, right? Like
or like a market. For them to make money off.
Yeah,
everything's a business.
Like there's easier use case and justification for like Tesla, for, you know, AI applications, for ChatGPT, all that stuff, right? But then for this, it's like, oh, unless you know someone with a missing limb or you have a missing limb, then you will care a lot less.
Yeah.
Right. Like how many people do you guys know with missing limbs? I know
one person with like a missing finger.
Yeah, that's like,
and that doesn't.
Yeah, that's like your ET. That's life. It, right? Yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah, I actually don't know anybody that's missing anything. I would say.
I think I probably like know of someone that's probably missing like a finger or something like that.
Yeah,
or like someone's missing their pinky toe or some shit, right? But nothing like, oh, this person's missing their whole arm.
Like life altering.
Like yeah. Right. So then, like, if you brought this question to people. Yeah, it's nice you save little Timmy and his like legs, but then in reality, what's their true market is these more, you know, general applications of science, right?
That's true.
So when is you said you just met the surgeon this week?
Oh yeah, I met the surgeon this week. Basically gave her the go ahead, and then they'll call me back
So I heard
like 6 months to schedule a
Damn.
surgery.
I heard from someone that this surgeon is the shit. Everyone goes to this surgeon for their ACL shit.
I would say so. Yeah, like
She is
my friends that have gotten ACL surgery,
yeah.
the people that we know in our group now, like everyone goes to, or I don't know, for some reason everyone ends up seeing her.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it's because she's the only surgeon like in town that does it, or she's just the best. But from my experience, like she's very direct to the point. Like she doesn't like beat around the bush. Like if you're not doing your rehab properly, like she'll tell you all the steps you need to get better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like her. Like I like direct and to the point.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if she's the only one. Like, why is everyone referring? Like, you guys don't have a choice on this referral, do you?
Well, for the first time, actually, I don't think I had a choice in general.
Yeah.
Like maybe if I knew another surgeon that did ACL reconstruction,
Yeah.
I could ask to get referred to them.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
But at least in Edmonton, the Glen Sather is like the knee clinic
Yeah.
with all the specialists there, and I'm assuming they only work with her or something.
Dude, she's got some
Oh yeah,
mega deal. Dude,
that's pretty sick.
But
I'm not trying to like defame her or anything like that or like anything, but she must have some inside deal.
maybe she seems really young though. Like everyone that has dealt with her also says she seems really young.
Oh
But-
damn,
I don't know how old she is.
There's something in the background there.
what are you saying?
Someone's getting paid.
She has some great hamstrings.
No.
She comes out in a wheelchair because she's like, I gave all my higher ups my hamstrings.
I don't know, but someone's getting paid somehow. Or she's just that good.
She's definitely
Or she's just that good. But even if she's that good, like, dude, like they refer all to her. It's like, dude, I assume she gets paid per surgery she does by the government or something like that.
I
Of
think
her health
that's
services.
how they get paid. Yeah.
So I mean, like natural human instincts. If I was her, I'd be like, yeah, I want as many fucking surgeries as I can. I'll do 2 a day, 3 a day, 4 a day. I don't care. Right? You know what I mean? Like it's just copy paste, right? I assume it's something similar.
It is very much copy paste.
Yeah.
Like you could have like some complications once you open up the knee,
Yeah.
but the process of doing the surgery itself is like the most basic. If it's just ACL, they drill like 2 holes
Yeah.
up by your quad, one like on the lower part of your knee,
Yeah.
and like they already know what to do, right? Like
Yeah.
you just like take the ACL and you just like string it through, attach it.
Yeah.
Like that's like all they do.
Either she's really good, which I don't doubt she's really good, or someone's also getting paid. It could be both, or it could be either. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Damn.
How do you feel about all this injury and stuff? Like, is it like the first one, was it like super frustration and
The
stuff?
first one, it just felt like it was like super. Actually, I guess like both. They just felt like they're super unlucky. Like I've been playing volleyball since I was like 13 years old, and I'm turning 27 this year. So like 14 years,
Yeah.
and say like for 10 years of it, I was like completely injury free, and I played like a lot of volleyball. And then injured the first time, I was like, oh, that's unlucky. Do my
Yeah.
rehab, come back. I was like feeling good, and I was like playing 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And then I injured again. It's like, oh, it seems like it's unlucky.
How did you enter the second time?
Still volleyball, but I was just coming down from right side, and then it just must have been like the balls. It's usually like the ball's off or your body positioning isn't right, and then I come down with like a straight leg, and then that like when the force is going the opposite way, then it causes like rotation in your knee, which is what tears the ACL.
For sure. It's probably the setter's fault. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, the first one was my fault. The second was Sutter's fault, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
100%.
100%.
So
Samson.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? It just like forces me to do other things, I guess.
Did you buy a lottery ticket out there?
No, I didn't actually. Neither time.
I mean,
I should have. It's like
the balance,
65 million right now or something for 649.
right? I always say I'll buy it, and I never do because I'm lazy.
You'll never win it if you don't buy
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
You can't win if you don't buy it.
Well, at the same time, I also believe in accumulation of luck.
So you're saving.
You wanna keep saving it, right? Like if there was one
Interesting.
week where like a lot of shit happened to me,
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, like I've saved a lot.
So that means I should have a lot of good luck now, right? Since I've torn it twice.
Right, but then I also believe in using it throughout the time, right? Like you go through what's the thing people do? Someone like pays for your coffee or something like that, right?
Like pay for it.
Yeah. So like that, you've used them, right? Like you've accumulated a bunch and then you've used some. So like right after a bad event, you
But that's just
accumulate
like
a lot.
that's just unlucky that someone's using their pay it forward on me because they're like using my good luck. You know?
Yeah.
That's just even more bad luck.
I don't know how you want to frame it. I don't know if there's an objectiveness to it, but
I don't know.
yeah.
How would you frame it too? Like right before you re-injured your ACL, would you have said that you had a lot of good luck from your past tear, but then you tore it again? So
like,
what's the
good luck things that happened between my first tear
And
and
your
my
second
tear?
Yeah. How was your last 3 years?
So I tore it in 2021.
Yeah.
And then 2022, I was rehabbing it, and then I went back to school. So I don't think my life like got exponentially better or something after I tore my ACL, because a lot of it was just rehab. So I didn't do anything. If that makes sense.
nothing amazing happened in your life?
He didn't die. That's pretty amazing.
You're right. Maybe we don't know what
We
your
don't know
luck
yet.
prevented you
Yeah.
from.
Like maybe us
silver
not
lining.
dying is constantly burning our luck.
That's
Like every
true.
day you wake up, you're burning a bit of your luck because you could have went to bed and not wake up.
An asteroid could hit you.
Yeah, or like some crazy thing, you just go to sleep and you just never wake up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's no objective way of calculating luck and all this stuff, but that's how I kind of think of it sometimes. I was like, ooh, if something really bad happens, maybe I should buy the lottery ticket. But I never do because I'm always so lazy, anyways. So even if something shitty happens, but it's also like your mindset, right? Like something could be really shitty, but
You can
maybe
still see the positive in it.
and then you don't think about the luck part about it, right?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't know
I'm
if I
glad
really believe in luck, actually.
pardon?
I don't know if I really believe in luck.
Oh, I do, 100%.
I do, but
Yeah.
I don't believe in like it's always like good luck, bad luck. Like some things just like happen and it just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't prevent things from happening.
Like I feel like for me, luck would be more down to like chaos and how you can't predict things. But aside from that, it's not really anything else.
I don't know. I can't explain, but I definitely like I intertwine luck and fate. So like by fate, I met someone who's also luck, right?
Yes.
Right. So like fate brought us three to this room on a Friday, right? And that's could be luck, could be not luck, could be good luck, could be bad luck. I'm not sure, right?
Interesting.
Like Viv could rob me later or something like that, right? And that's bad luck, right? Because fate brought us here into this room, right? Or something like that. Or
Yeah,
for
sorry,
example,
this is a 2-year long con.
or for example, if Alton drove home and he got in a car accident, this could have been like bad luck, right? It's still fate that brought us together, but I'm not sure what it is, right? But I do believe there's some like weird thing that brings people together, and then there's also weird things where, for example, normally you don't meet new people if you live your normal life because you go to your normal gym, you go to your normal work, right? And then for some reason, there's like a spontaneous desire to like, oh, I'm gonna try the other gym or the other coffee shop or something like that. And then for some reason, you meet someone, right? And then I kind of feel like, oh, there's a little bit of fate in that, right? Like there was no reason you were to do that, but for some reason you had that spontaneous feeling, and then you did it, and then that caused something. So I don't know. I kind of believe it, but I wouldn't say I think it's the end all and be all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like it happens and it is what it is.
Right.
And I actually think it's a very nice scapegoat. So like if something shitty happens to you, you're just like, oh, it's just bad luck, right? So like you don't make it too hard on yourself, right? Like,
Some people do. Some people are like, oh, I have such bad luck.
But then those people are just
bad
like
things happen
using
to
it
me.
as like a way to like
Victimize himself.
yeah
Yeah.
it's like
Okay,
a cop
yeah.
out
yeah.
instead of like
I agree.
Like the way I'm thinking about it is like if something shitty happened, I'm like, oh, it's bad luck. I just have to move on. It's like it was a 1 in 4 chance or something like that. It happened to me. Okay, whatever. It's just shitty luck. I just have to move on with that, right? And then some people could really like play the victim and try to get people to pity them for that shit, right? But it's just like, dude, it is what it
you
is.
can't
Right?
always have bad luck.
You can't or can't.
You can't. I feel like you can't always have
Statistically,
bad
you
luck.
can't.
Yeah, that's what I feel like too.
Or else it's
Like
not bad
unless
luck.
you die at like age 3 from like leukemia, then I'm like, okay.
you win.
I was like, okay, yeah, that luck. I'm sorry to say. Right. But I assume if you live to an adult and you don't have some insane life, but actually it's hard to say because like some people have some like insane trauma in their life, right?
That's true.
Right, like their father goes buy some milk, they're never back, stuff like that, right? Then it's like, oh, I think he had bad luck. You know what I mean? But I think on average, it's I don't know, the universe averages out for the most part. Is how I
Really?
feel like.
Do you think there's people that have crazy good luck and they just never?
Yeah, Mohammed bin Salman, the prince of Saudi Arabia, has crazy good luck at birth. He was birthed to a royal family of Saudi Arabia and has trillions of dollars to his
But he always has to live with the lives of all those
Bitches.
no
Just kidding.
something to do with like the oil oil sands and
I'll take it. For those trillions of dollars, I'll take it.
I feel like that'd be kind of crazy to live life and not actually care about the value of money at all.
Yeah.
like, for
like
it to not be
ever.
a concern.
Yeah, like ever.
You don't have to think about it.
Yeah. And from the day you're born, I feel like your perspective on life would be kind of different.
Well, that's like a little bit of nepotism, right? Like how those people live their like
I guess so.
mm,
You're right.
children of stars, right? That's kind of
You're
how.
right.
Because like, I mean, if I was uber rich, I would want my kids to live a very, carefree-ish life where they don't have to worry
Yeah.
about stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want them to work hard and stuff, but I think it's so hard for someone who's mega successful for their kids to also be mega successful because,
It's hard.
yeah, because I think that person who's mega successful, they probably went through some really hard upbringing, which caused them to be so motivated to get become so rich. And then their goal now is when they have kids, they want them to live comfortably because they don't want them to go through what they went through. But if they didn't go through what they went through, then they can't get to the same spot as what that person is, right? So it's like, I forgot what the saying is, but it's like, comfortable or soft men creates,
Oh,
What was it
like
again?
comfortable times.
yeah,
And then,
or some shit like
yeah,
that, right?
it's like
So-
it goes in a circle.
Yeah. So it's like I may or may not be successful in this life. Let's say I am successful, and then my kids, I want them to not worry about these things, right? Worry about their next meal and stuff like that, right? And then they become not as successful because of that, right? And they can only inherit so much. I'm not saying I'm crazy successful, right? So then when they try to live their life, it becomes harder for them, and then they don't take care of their kids as much, so their kids have harder lives, right? And then it becomes a cycle again, and then their kids work really hard to
That's why
become
you have
very
to be
successful.
so successful that you can set up not just your kids,
Yeah.
but your kids'
Yeah,
and their next.
Yeah, so that's like
Yeah.
setting up generational wealth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. Like, there's
Yeah.
one thing about being wealthy, and there's another thing being generationally wealthy, right?
It's true.
But at the same time, I don't know. I'm kind of, I'm doubtful I can get to that point, and I kind of don't want to, but maybe that's because I don't think I can. So I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. Like, if you ask me to trade, I'm like, fuck. I would love to be the Prince of Saudi Arabia. No questions asked. If you ask me, I'm like, sure.
Can you imagine one day they're like, this Asian guy right here?
Yeah. It turns out you're actually long lost heir
Yeah,
to the
I will
throne.
convert.
Oh my
I will convert right away. Whatever you guys want. Yeah. So
Did you guys hear that Trump's getting
convicted and stuff?
convicted
Yeah, that's very interesting.
But he can still run. Though,
for
can't he?
president?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
which is
from
also
jail.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy because I felt like he was from a public stance. It's like a very win-win situation. So like, if he gets convicted, all the people who are supporting him be like, "Oh, that was a sham trial and all that
Yeah.
stuff," and like the other people will also say, "Hey, this is kind of fishy that you're convicting him now, right before he runs for president, right?" So then there's some more doubt in the air, right?
Yeah.
And then if he does win, then
It's like, oh, he was innocent the whole
yeah,
time. Right?
yeah. So then he didn't do anything wrong, right? So I felt like it was like a win-win for him. Like, if he loses, it galvanizes his forces to say like, "Oh, hey, this is a fucking scam. The system's a scam," right?
Mm.
And then if he wins, it's like, well, he did nothing wrong, so you guys are scammers still, right? Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting if that ever happens. I think it's interesting times, very scary times.
I was still surprised that the first time that he ran for president that
That
he
he
did
won.
win.
Yeah,
Oh
That
yeah,
was,
me
like,
too.
Shocking.
yeah, that was crazy.
And all the shit that he did while he was in his presidency, I was like, damn.
But I don't know if it's because we lived here, but or at least for me personally, I don't really follow politics that
Yeah.
much. But ever since he did get elected, all the stuff that he did do, whether it was good or bad, I felt like I didn't really hear much about it. And then 4 years goes by,
Yeah,
and you're like, oh shit, he's running again.
yeah,
It's like, what did he do? And then all the stuff gets brought back up when they're running again,
yeah.
all the good and bad stuff they did. So
I
I don't
mean-
really know what he did or didn't do.
Like,
when he was-
that's a crazy question too, because if you're a wealthy country and in 4 years' times nothing's really changed, I don't think you should really complain because it could get a lot worse, right?
Who are you calling the wealthy country?
Like U.S.
The States?
Yeah,
Like
the States
first
is
world, I guess.
the States is a wealthy country, right? Like, if you live in the States and you make minimum wage, you're technically still the 1% of the world, right? Even though you're in shitty conditions, right? You're still technically making more than that kid in Africa or India or something like that, right? And then if nothing happens while you're wealthy and stuff, then I mean, that I think is a pretty good thing in terms of, okay, status quo was met, wealth stayed wealthy, it didn't go
Yeah.
broke, we didn't go into a civil war or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're in a shitty country, you want the change, right? You want dramatic changes. You're like, no, I want like fucking, get rid of corruption and feed the people and stuff like that, right?
Right.
That's how I think of it, at least.
How do you feel about some people calling the States a third world country?
Those guys are fucking
compared to.
Who's saying?
There's like people that say that the States is actually a third world country in comparison to like places in Asia or in Europe Europe, in Europe because they're so much more technologically advanced. Their government supports them more. There's more like regulated funding. People are more supported in their quality of life and shit like that.
I think if you compare the worst of the States to the worst of every other country, I think it's about the same. Right, like if you compare like the fucking murder capital of the States and the murder capital of like I don't know some Asian country or some like poor country, I don't think there's much difference. I think the average is just higher though. Like the median is just higher than third world countries. But yeah. If you're looking at the shittiest part, I mean, there's really shitty parts here too. There's shitty parts everywhere in the world, right? So it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's unfair because like they're using very specific examples, but then it's also unfair to humanity when they just use averages too, right?
Yeah. That's true.
You're saying like, oh, everyone in the States makes average of this much, but then there's like fucking 3 guys who makes like fucking 20% of that, right?
Yeah.
But then, so that takes away the humanity of it. But then if you go to very specific cases, it's also very unfair because it's a very small sample size. And if you had the same sample size in some other country, you're probably going to see the same shit.
You're right.
So I don't know. I think they're too fast to judge and comment on that, right? Without knowing it all. And I don't know. It's so tough. It's like taking the humanity out of it. Right? Like if someone lived in the shittiest part of America and they said that, I'll be like, you're right. Because you lived in the shittiest part, right?
Yeah.
But if someone's living in fucking Manhattan, New York, and they're saying that, you're like, shut the fuck up, right? Like, do you want to live in like these other shittier places?
Like the slums.
Yeah, like so. That's how I feel about it. I think I don't know. I've always thought like people should care more about their own community first before they try to influence other stuff. As in like I should care more about the success of Edmonton before I care about the success of Calgary. Or I should care more about the success of Alberta before I care about the success of Saskatchewan. In terms of that, right? If you start to think about your own community a bit more. And then once you get too big, it gets weird, right? It's like you don't relate to it, right? It's I always have the mentality of like you have to help yourself first before you can help others. Yeah, so if you broaden that out a bit more, like, you have to help your own city before you can help other cities or other provinces, right? So I feel like if and then once you get to something too big, it's really hard to even think and imagine. Like, can you imagine 1 million people?
No.
Like, I've never seen 1 million people in one spot.
I cannot.
Yeah. Like, I think I can imagine maybe like 50, 60, maybe up to 100,000 people in a giant stadium.
Yeah, like a stadium.
I can
or
imagine
a concert. Like well, I guess like...
that's like 300-ish, right?
No.
Like, how many people go to EDC?
Oh, EDC is like 400.
It's like 400?
Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, it's like, you can't imagine that many people. Like, you're only... Like, unless you're standing, like, at the very top of the speed track.
Yeah.
And overviewing everyone, then you can like visually see 400.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a great example.
Yeah.
So then when
it's like even 1 million, how can you envision 1 million?
Yeah, yeah. So if you imagine I want to help all these people, but you can't even imagine that many people, I feel like it becomes it becomes less personal at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I have a personal bond to it, if I think about my community as in, oh, this is my like volleyball friends or this is my temple, like I can directly think about, okay, these are the things I can actually do instead of philosophizing to the public of things they should do. I can actually like do something to help my own community, right?
Right.
And then if every single person did that, then you don't even need to philosophize, right? But like, people are already doing things to help themselves first, right? That's how I think of it too. So that's why like when people say like, oh, it stays a third world country, I was like, man, you just deal with their own shit first before you start talking shit.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay, so how was your week, Viv? I mean, wait, anything else with your week, Alton?
My week?
Are you wait, okay. Actually, this whole podcast was one, I think Alton's interesting, and I've never actually spoken to him much outside of our brief interactions.
Yeah.
So I do want to get to know you a bit more. What did you study recently? You said you went back to school. Right?
Recently I did my master's in software engineering at U of C.
Cool.
And then my undergrad was civil engineering at U of A.
Oh, nice.
That's
What made you think of the transition or the change?
Well, at the time, so I already worked for like 4 years right after undergrad.
But you did or
I did.
Oh, okay.
So I already worked for 4 years, and then at that point, after 4 years, well, also like part of it was during COVID, so I don't know, like COVID's also a weird thing where like it seems like 2 years of your lives were just like
it's
like
gone.
poof, it's gone, right? But it felt like I worked for a long time.
Oh, okay.
So then I didn't know if I wanted to continue what I was doing or if I really enjoyed it. And I don't know, the thought of like trying to find a different job wasn't that appealing at the time either. And then at the same time, tech was like blowing up, right? Like you see it all over the news, social media, where like becoming a software engineer is like the next best thing. So I was like looking online at school and stuff. And then this master's program was only 1 year.
Oh, nice.
And then to me, doing something at a university seemed like a bit more legit than doing a boot camp.
Yeah.
Like a 6-month boot camp or something. So I was like, oh, 1 year in Calgary, it's not far.
Yeah.
It's only 1 year of my time.
Yeah.
I might as well just try it.
Yeah.
And I thought about it for a while. Right. And then at the end of the day, I was like, I was only 25 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I might as well just give it a shot and see if I do like it.
Yeah.
And then if anything, I don't like it, I can always, I don't know, drop out, go back to working, all that stuff. So that's like ultimately why I made it. It wasn't like I was really dead set on being a software engineer. It was just like the hottest thing at the time, and I thought I might as well try it. Yeah.
So you graduated?
Yeah, I graduated at the end of April 2020, this year, this past year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you
Exciting.
found something cool? Some
Job?
Yeah.
No. Oh, so after I graduated, I went to Japan for like 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks. So in my head, I wasn't going to look for a job until I got back.
How was Japan?
It was good. I went with my family. So this was like a family trip that we had planned for a long time, kind of. So my brother is going into his second year of uni.
Is he a weeb?
Is he a weeb?
Yeah.
No. No, he watches anime, but he's not a weeb.
Okay. I mean, I was like, you said you planned for a long time. I was thinking
Like as a
he might have
family
ambition.
trip to Japan.
Is your family a weeb?
No.
I thought for some reason because you said he's in his second year of university, he's a weeb, and I was like,
No. It's just like if you guys were
Like some
planning
people
it
that
as
are really
a
looking
family.
forward to Japan.
Yeah. That's what I was
No,
thinking.
it's just like a family trip. But traveling like in the summer is more expensive.
Yes.
So we were like, okay, when he's in university, then he's off school earlier.
Yes.
So we can go, right? But then last year I was in school like myself. So that's why we pushed it to this year.
Right.
So it was nice to finally get out and go there.
Is it your first time there?
To Japan, yeah.
Yeah.
First time there.
Like first time for your whole family?
Yeah. My parents have been like a long time ago.
Oh,
they
I
haven't
see.
been like recently.
Yeah.
So that was fun. It was really tiring though. Like people say you need a vacation from your vacation.
Oh,
and it definitely
yeah.
felt like that. Just because every day is like so jam packed with activities, and you try to make the most out of the time that you spent there.
Yeah.
Because you like fly. Well, you only fly like 9 hours to get there, which I don't think it's that bad for going to Asia.
Yeah.
Versus like if I just go back to Hong Kong, it'd be like 12.
Yeah, 12 or something
plus,
like that.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a really good time to go. Their yen's pretty low, so
Yeah, it was great. It was like
good exchange rate.
14.
Yeah. Like when I went, it was I think a little bit under 110.
When
I
did
went.
you go?
I went last May.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no, it's true for the vacation from a vacation. I mean, I have some experience in traveling, so I feel like I know how to plan out now where I can,
Like give yourself
actually,
like a rest day.
yeah,
kind
like
of thing,
I
taking
maximally enjoy it,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So my limit is 10 days because I know anything after 10 days is not fun anymore.
That's how I felt on the 10th day. I was talking to my mom. I'm like,
Yeah.
She's like, or no, I think I was asking her, I was like, I'm ready to go home. Are you? She's like, yeah, I'm ready to go home too.
Yeah. So I realized that that was after my very first trip. I did a like 6-week Asia trip right after I graduated. And I realized at that moment, it's like, okay, you just need to take 10 days, I think is the max. And after that, the fun level just starts to get lower and lower. Linearly, exponentially, I'm not sure, but it just starts to decrease
It's just
a bunch.
so tough because like you travel across the world.
Yes.
And you want to make the most of it. Because
Yeah.
when are you going to travel
Yes.
that many hours again, right? So it's just like a really hard balance.
Yeah. And then I also realized first day, don't pack it at all because you're going to be
I did
physically tired from the trip. And then I think after every 2 days, so every third day, give yourself a more chilled day. It's not like you can't do anything, but just make it more relaxed.
Yeah.
And then what I've also done is I've made the days between even a bit more relaxed. So it just helps the trip out. I know a lot of people want to see everything when they're there, but honestly, I feel like if you go to a different country, just to experience their culture already takes a couple days, right? Like just go to the McDonald's, just go to the supermarket. Just doing those things is already kind of exciting and it's kind of fun, right? So then I like to stick to one or two places, not too much, and then just fully experience it. And then I can say, okay, I've done everything here. I can choose in my future, next 5, 6, 7 years to come back or not. If not, it's okay. I did everything I wanted to do here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I've started setting up a lot of my trips. So it's like 10-day max, plan it out. Don't go to too many places. So for example, if I went to France half a year ago. I just went to two different cities, Paris and Marseille. It was about 10 days, right? So it was like a good balance between the two. If I was in Paris for the full 10 days, I would hate it because I think after
it's too much time to spend in one place.
Yeah. But if you have 10 days split between two, I think you have a good balance, right? One of them's you probably have a bit more to do. And then if you put these in between days of rest, I think that's usually the best balance.
Yeah, like we flew in and out of Tokyo. So we started in Tokyo, then went to Kyoto, Osaka, and then back to Tokyo.
Yeah.
And we spent the least amount of time in Kyoto.
Yeah.
And then I guess like overall the most amount of time in Tokyo, but I couldn't see myself spending the whole trip in any one of those cities for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was the opposite too. I actually prefer Osaka, Kyoto. Like I would spend, if I had 10 days, I would spend 6 to 7 of them there and then maybe just 3 days in
Tokyo. Is just like so big and there's like so many areas that you want to hit. Like I barely spent any time in Shinjuku.
Right.
We lived by Shibuya, so I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
And then like Ginza or like, I guess like downtown Japan kind of, I spent a day there and like a day in like Akihabara area. So it's just like, there's just so much to see in Tokyo that it doesn't feel like you're in Tokyo. It feels like each day you're in another smaller town.
Yeah,
in
that's
Japan,
true.
right?
What were some of your favorite things that you did?
That I did?
Yeah.
Aside from eating and shopping.
Or ate. Favorite moments?
Definitely like the food is really good. Some food is overrated.
Like what? Shoot some shit right now to Japan.
Ichiran.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
Overrated.
Average. I think I can make it just as well.
Tsukiji Market is pretty
Yes.
overrated.
I thought it was not bad.
Okay, I could say like the food is not bad, but for the price that you pay,
It's so
you could get
overpriced.
the same
yes.
or the same quality item for like way less.
I agree.
Yeah. I enjoyed the subway system a lot. Like the whole use of just metro is really nice compared to us living here where you're just driving everywhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Even though I did get lost a few times. Not like lost, but like you take the wrong train in the wrong direction. Or I learned like, oh, they have rapid express trains and local trains.
Holy shit.
And sometimes your station is only the local station, so you got to get on the right train.
Yeah. It's a different type of exploring. It's like in Edmonton or most North American city, we
You gotta
explore
drive.
in the car, right? But there you can explore on foot, which
On
is
foot.
different.
Yeah. Every day is like 15,000 steps.
Yeah.
Which for some people is not a lot. Well, I guess like in normal people standards, that's definitely a lot. But for some people that travel, they do like 20K, 25K.
I mean, you don't have ACL, so it must be tough for you.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
It was fine. It started getting a bit painful, like going upstairs near the end of my trip. But for the most part, being without an ACL doesn't really affect my stuff that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like day to day has no issues. Going to the gym is no issues. The only thing is
Really?
I can't play volleyball. Like I went for a run today.
Whoa.
I went to the gym today. So, yeah.
Oh, it's kind of crazy.
Damn. Maybe
You don't feel any imbalances or like lack of support or anything while you're running or going to the gym?
Running, I'm like careful on it
Yeah.
from the impact, but day to day, no, I don't have to worry about it. It's only like when you do rotation with your knee
Yeah.
is when I worry about it. But
Maybe
aside from that, yeah.
you've surpassed the need of it.
No,
you've
I've definitely
evolved.
no, I feel the unstableness in my knee for sure. Definitely need it. Another thing about Japan is like the people. It's just like organized.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I just love how people are respectful
Yeah.
and like organized.
Like there's a lineup and it's actually single file. It's not like the bullshit lineups we have here where everyone just like clumps around the entrance.
Nobody is like, and like everyone there, like they know that they'll get onto the train or they know they'll get off, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like here, people are like trying to fight to like get on. It just made me think of like people on airplanes. Anytime the seatbelt when you land, you know, when the
Oh my
seatbelt
God,
sign,
yeah.
like goes off, like people are just like standing up right away, and you just sit there. You're like, why? You're 30 rows back. You're not going to get out any faster than
There's
I
no
am.
point.
Yeah, I agree.
Just made me think of that. So, but overall, yeah, Japan's really good, but I don't think I need to go back for a while. I'd rather go somewhere else.
I've been way too many times, I think. Even my last trip, it was purely for my girlfriend, because she's never been, right? I've been there 3 times, right, in the last like 3-4 years, right? So
yeah, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah,
and you'd rather go somewhere else.
I've been twice. I don't know why everyone always says Japan is like so much fun, and I thought it was fun, but not as hyped as everyone says it is. And I'm not sure if maybe I'm not doing the right things, or maybe I didn't go with the right people, or what it was. But
like I didn't go like clubbing or anything.
I didn't either.
Right, so maybe
I guess I did, but then like once.
Yeah, like maybe that's something that is really good. But then like it's also weird that their trains stop at midnight, but the clubs are open till like at least 2.
I mean, taxi drivers gotta make money.
Yeah, but apparently it's just like common for people to stay out till like
till the next train.
Till the next train, 5 a.m. Right?
No, I think first time is fun. Is definitely fun, but then after that, it's like a non-required repeatable
or maybe you have to
experience.
like do something different the second and third time you go. You can't go back
Maybe.
and do the exact same thing.
You also have to think like maybe these people have never left Canada, and that was the first place they've left to visit. Right? Then it's different.
No.
Right? Then
No, the people
there are people on my flight that they're saying that was the first time they've flown.
Yeah.
Was going to Japan. I'm like,
dude,
that's crazy. But also like that makes you think like, oh, I was really lucky when I was younger that my family could take me on trips.
Yeah.
Like, expose me to flying.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, yeah, I guess like that's a luxury that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely see if you've never been there before, or you've only traveled within North America, the first time would be a very like cool and new experience. And then after that, like if you went to Japan and then you went to Korea after, then Korea would be less fun because it's like not a new thing anymore. It's like kind of similar.
Really? That's what I did.
In Korea though.
I enjoyed Korea. No, I definitely enjoyed Korea. But then you don't get that culture shock anymore, right? Like the culture shock of Japan doesn't completely like it's Korea's not the same. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of similarities. Like even I think something's really cool is like you can get a meal for like $5 or something like that, like a full meal that you're.
That's the same in Korea and Japan.
Yeah. And then it's also like the way their transit works not completely different either. It's similar. It's the tap card system, Google Maps, things like that.
I was gonna say I feel like the culture and everything is pretty different though.
The food you eat is different, but the Asian metropolis is the same. I feel like.
Like what did you find was like the biggest?
Like in Japan, I was more conscious about being respectful and being quiet and being like really proper everywhere I went, but like less in Korea.
Yeah.
Like completely less in Korea.
But the Asian metropolis is very similar. The whole like they have a nice transit system. You can get a meal for only this much. They have a bunch of vending machines.
Okay.
It's a very walkable city. The temperature's about the same. The conveniences are about the same. Like the 7-Eleven. Yeah, they stock different things, but the general layout's about the same. They have everything you need in either Japan 7-Eleven or a Korea 7-Eleven type of thing, right? So like those type of culture shocks kind of go away. If you've only been in North America your whole life, then it's like that's a really big thing. But then after that, you're like, okay, I see the similarities between the two, and there's also some differences too. I personally actually liked Korea more, but I haven't been to as often as Japan.
Me too.
Like my one time in Korea was actually really fun.
Did you go with a group of friends?
No, it was during my 6-week trip with one friend. Like me and him went to we went to Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, Thailand. In Japan, one of our other friends met up with us, and then in Thailand, one of our other friends met up with us.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is, but it seems to me like when you go to Korea, it's best to do it with a larger group versus like Japan kind of favors smaller traveling groups.
Oh, why is that for Korea?
It seems like all the Korean food, you just like share it.
Oh, that's true.
Whereas like Japanese food, everything is like single portion.
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of makes sense.
I don't know if that's...
Dude, their elevators in Japan are crazy. Crazy
small?
Yeah. me and my friend, we walked in. It says max 8. There's 3 of us, and we already filled the entire elevator. We're like, no way. We're not putting another 5 people in here. There's no way we can fit another 5. Yeah. Oh, that's good. You had fun. It's good you had fun.
What was one of the craziest stories that you have from your trip?
Yeah. Did you go to the red light district of Tokyo?
No. I was with my family.
I mean,
actually, my dad's wallet got pickpocketted on the metro.
Really?
Oh shit.
Yeah. So like it was near the beginning of our trip.
Oh no.
And then it happened between like Ginza station and like the station by our hotel. Which happened sometime there.
Yeah.
And then we didn't know. So like that day we got back to the hotel like 5, and then all of us just like passed out until like midnight.
Yeah.
And then we went out to eat, and then my dad was like, "Oh shit! Like I don't know where my wallet is. Must be like back at the hotel."
Yeah.
But they went back, he couldn't find it. That's just like, oh, maybe I like lost it or someone stole it.
Yeah.
And then we went. So like when we were traveling, we turned off all of our SIMs and then just used like eSIM for data, right?
Yeah.
So I turned on his SIM card to call like banks and whatnot to get the cards put on hold, and then it turns out like somebody was trying to like charge thousands of dollars onto his credit card. So then like that was a stressful night of like calling banks and getting all that shit like resolved.
Yeah.
And then so we went to, in Japan they have like police boxes and police stations. So police box is like just a small little booth where like 2 or 3 officers like patrol the neighborhood, and then police station is like self-explanatory. So we went to a police box, and they're like, "Oh no, you got to go to the station." But this is at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So we went to a station that was closed, I believe, but there was one guy outside, and then he was trying to help us, and we were just like using my phones like Google Translate to have a conversation. And then turns out like the next morning we had to go to a different station, like in Shibuya, like one of the larger ones, to file a police report. But nobody there spoke English either, which was kind of surprising that the largest police station, like nobody there spoke English.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, our police station, I don't think anyone speaks Japanese, but
or Chinese. I feel like the more relevant one would be Chinese or like French, or maybe French.
I think
Chinese,
they speak French.
Chinese for sure. If I had to guess, you could walk into a police station and ask for someone that speaks Chinese.
100%.
So that was the craziest thing that happened, for sure.
Damn, at the beginning of the trip too.
Yeah. Aside from that, everything else was smooth sailing. Something that was fun, Universal.
Oh.
It was actually fun. Yeah. Like for the amount of lining up you have to do, it was still a good experience. And like before I went, I had like a lot of, I don't know, thoughts in my head if I wanted to go through with it. Yeah. Just because like you have to line up for everything that you do there, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
But at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun.
I was kind of lucky when I went the last time, not last time, but the time before. It was right before COVID. It was like February, beginning of February. Everything shut down in March.
Yeah.
And there's 0 lineups. We went to Universal. The only lineup there was, which we did end up lining. So we went to all the rides we wanted to. Yeah. And then there was the Attack on Titan ride. And we spent 3 hours lining up in that ride.
Holy
Even
shit.
for like, oh, you didn't go in like single ride or anything?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Oh,
but like we already went through all the rides.
Okay, so you didn't mind waiting for
so
one
we had
ride.
nothing else to do that day. So we're like, well, okay, I guess we're going to line up for...
I think I got to hit all the rides I wanted to.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Jurassic Park ones were closed.
Yeah.
But
that's the shitty part. There's always 1 or 2 closed. Yeah. And it has to be a fun one. It can't be like some kiddie shitty one.
Yeah.
It has to be one of the fun ones that's closed. But all the time. Every single amusement park we've been to, there's at least one closed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the shitty part about that. Can't experience it all even though you want to. I mean, I feel like they do that specifically and then, or on purpose, and then...
So you come back?
Kind of. But then when it's busy or when it's like a really high season time, they'll probably open more of them up. Yeah. Or all of them, potentially. But yeah.
It's stressful though. I was stressing not being able to get into Super Nintendo World because we didn't buy an express pass or anything.
Yeah.
So we showed up. I think the park officially opened at 9.
Yeah.
But they actually opened at like 8. Yeah. So we showed up at 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got in without like, just when the gate first opened, we just went in. But it was funny seeing like people were sprinting towards Super Nintendo.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We did something kind of similar in Disney when we went. It was open at a certain time, but we tried to go there earlier.
Yeah.
But I think we hit up everything we wanted to do. But we had the express pass when we went to Disney.
Yeah. It was just like I was with my family, so it was like it wasn't worth getting express pass because they're not going to go on all the rides and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just you and your brother go on the rides, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Now I feel like I did get to know you a bit more now. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that was that was a bit of the purpose. We'll go to you, Viv. How's your week? Chilling?
Oh, my week has been pretty normal. Let me see my calendar. Yeah, it's guess I could say I went to Vancouver for a
How
week.
was that?
It was really fun. I went for my cousin's wedding, and I stayed longer so that I could hang out with Noelle.
Loser. Fucking loser.
I stayed at Noelle's place the entire time, and it was pretty fun, actually. I had a lot more fun than I thought I would. Even though I thought I would have a lot of fun, I had even more fun. Like, it was a really, really good trip. My cousin's wedding was a lot of fun. We had, at the tea ceremony, everyone dressed in Lao clothing.
Right.
And then this was
What's Lao clothing?
like Laotian looking clothing.
Does it look like Vietnamese clothing?
No, it kind of looks like Chinese clothing mixed with a sari. I would say.
Oh, I see.
Is that the ethnicity of your cousin?
It's
She's
like
partially Laos.
mine.
You're partially Laos?
Mm. Like my dad's side is from Laos.
They have the mix and the golden triangle. Weird stuff there.
Yeah, so it looks like that. So like we all dressed up that way, and I wore one too.
Oh, I see.
And that was really fun to wear that and like eat Laotian food. And then I met some of my cousins, the people that they're dating, which was fun because
SOs.
yes, they're new SOs. And then the actual wedding itself was at this really, really pretty place. It's called a Highcroft something. They mean HY
Okay.
and then Croft
Sorry.
Manor. Yeah, it's at this place. It's everything.
That's
It's
a
all
really
these
nice
pictures.
venue.
All these pictures here in
Oh,
Google.
really? It looks like a guaylo place.
Yeah, it is, but it's so freaking pretty. There's so many flowers everywhere.
It was dinner at like a Chinese
all
place?
this shit, all that. No, it was actually my cousin lives by the city hall. He lives in an apartment building right by city hall. Literally, like walk outside of his building and city hall's right there.
Seems rich.
And then if you go downstairs from his apartment building, they have a venue that you can rent. And then his wedding was held there at that venue. Yeah, it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun to hang out with Noelle. I also had Noelle worked nights most of the time, so we would hang out during the day. I worked remotely, quote unquote, on
You're a liar.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but technically I only worked until like
Your
11,
boss
12 ish.
doesn't listen to your podcast, right?
No, until like 11, 12 ish. I got everything I needed to get done.
Yeah.
Okay. And then afterwards, Noelle and I would go and hang out until she needed to go to work because she worked at 4 p.m. until 2 a.m.
Damn.
And then for the rest of the night, I would go hang out by myself or I would go hang out with my cousins. And so it was really nice bonding with my cousins. And then when I came back, I had a really long ass walk with Leia.
Mm.
We walked for 10 kilometers.
For fun?
Yeah, for
Oh,
fun. I think we do that almost every time we go on a walk.
How long did that take? That's a
Couple
long walk.
hours. Yeah, we just start walking. Yeah, I think the longest one we've done was 12 kilometers. A little
Nice.
longer. Pretty nice. And then, yeah, that's pretty much my week. Hung out with a few friends here and there. Like, I saw this friend that I haven't hung out with her in like 2 to 4 years on Wednesday.
24 years.
2 to 4 years. I see her at volleyball all the time. And I used to see her around at like event, like family-ish events all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it.
Oh, that's cool. I guess
Pretty
we're all
nice.
talking about our trips. Goddamn.
Yeah.
I recently went on a trip. I went to Morocco. So Morocco, for people who don't know, is in North Africa. It's right next to Spain.
I did not know where Morocco was.
All right,
Heard
here,
of
look-
it before,
Let me
but
throw up the map for you.
I had to ask Alvin like twice or 3 times where Morocco was. 'cause he
Okay,
kept forgetting.
this is Africa.
Yeah.
This is Europe, and Morocco's right here.
what made you go to Morocco?
We had relatively cheap flights. So it was like $800-ish.
Yeah.
So it wasn't originally $800. It was about like $1,000, but we had credits with Air Canada, so it became like $800 per person, which is really cheap to go to this part of the world.
What's the average price?
Let's see right now. Edmonton to Morocco.
How long did you go for?
Holy.
We went for a week.
Actually,
That's not bad.
1,200. I saw the 1,600 one first.
1,200? Can you go to Asia?
Not anymore.
You're like, why would you go to Morocco over Asia?
I mean, yeah. I guess you can tell us more about your trip and why you decided to go to Morocco.
Holy shit.
Let me see.
That one's
Hold
almost
up.
5K.
Let me try to figure out. Oh, it's actually about $1,000.
Oh yeah, what the hell?
So it's not crazy expensive anyways. But yeah, no, it was a decent deal we got, and it was with Air Canada. So I was like, okay, let's just go.
Wait, what was your deal?
$800.
Oh, okay, but you used your points.
I had credit with them.
Oh,
So I had a delayed flight for my last trip, so they gave me and
but
Joyce each credit.
technically it's still 1,000, and it's still 1,000.
But I mean, I don't know if I'll always book with Air Canada, but this one is with Air Canada, so I was like, oh fuck it, right? Book it and get a pretty decent deal. It's a part of the country I've never been to. I'm not saying I traveled everywhere, but I've been to a lot-ish.
So like when you travel, like your goal is just to explore places you've never been. You don't really have like
I mean, there are some
repeat.
There are some repeat. Like I said, I've been to Japan like 3 times. If like right now, I'm trying to plan my trip in October. I'm not sure yet where. So we're trying to see if there's a good deal anywhere.
Just travels whenever.
Yeah, that's his.
Like every
Is that
4
your-
months about.
He's
How much
trying
vacation do you
to.
have?
I have 3 weeks, so every 4 months.
Oh,
I
you take a week?
I take a week.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you take a week with the weekends and like if it's
Yeah.
tied with a holiday, it's about 10 days.
Yeah.
So it's like a perfect number of a number
Like
of
for you,
days
it's
that
like
I
perfect,
want.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And
that
like
makes sense.
I don't mind the. I mean, I feel like people use the distance as an excuse, and I feel like that's kind of lame. It's like, yeah, it's far. It's true. It is what it is, right? But there's not much left in North America for me to explore. Like I've been to every major city in Canada already. I've been along the West Coast. I guess I haven't been along the East Coast that much, but I've been to the Bahamas. I've been to that stuff. So it's like there's not too much I want to do, and I think most North American cities, I could spend 4 days and I'll be good. So that's literally a long weekend. That's a Monday off and a Friday, and I can just go. So I don't even need to take time off for that. I just go, right? Kind of thing. Because I have every other Friday off, so it's like part of. I just go, right? So then when I do go on trips and I do take vacation, which I do use all of mine, I actually go somewhere, right? So in October, I'm still deciding where. It's kind of up in the air right now. It's between Europe, South America, and only if there's a cheap deal for Asia. That's the only case. But if not, then it's probably Europe or South America right now. South America is kind of a greedy goal. It's just like, oh, if I went to South America, I've been to every single continent except for Antarctica, kind of thing. But I have been learning like Spanish for the last 3 months with my girlfriend, so it's like, oh, it's kind of applicable to some. Yeah. It's kind of cool because when I went to Morocco, there are a lot of Spanish tourists, and I can kind of understand a little bit of what they're saying.
Really?
Like you can pick up
In
the words,
Morocco?
and then you kind of connect. Yeah. So Morocco is French colony French
that's what I
colony
would've
country.
guessed.
So their main language is French, Berber, and Arabic.
What's Berber?
It's dude.
What does it sound like?
Dude, it's crazy. I don't know what it sounds. It's not click, okay, but Berber language is so interesting because I never thought I'd see something like this. But their alphabet is literally like circles and squares and shit. Fuck, let me see. Berber alphabet. Yeah, like this is their alphabet here. So circles and squares and something like that. It's the OG. Like they were the.
That looks like the unknown from Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were the first peoples in the area. So it's kind of cool. So that's their 3 main language. Most of the people there are like super multilingual. They'll know French, Arabic, Berber, English, and then.
It's like people in Singapore too, huh? People in Singapore are like that too.
I mean, they know English and Chinese, I guess. A little bit of Arabic.
Imagine in Arabic.
A little bit of Arabic,
They
but it's
know
mostly
Arabic in Singapore.
only a little bit. There's a Muslim community there, but I think most of them is just English and Chinese. I think this one's more intense. To know French, Berber,
Like
Arabic,
really
and
different
English.
languages.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and knowing English, but
Can you?
Spain also because Spain's right here, so that's why there's a lot of tourists
Have you
from
been to
Spain.
Spain before?
Yes, I went to Spain in December.
Spain is so nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
Spain's somewhere that I would like to visit for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, my trip to Morocco was fun. I booked a tour for it because I was like, I don't really want to plan all this stuff because there's actually a lot of different places to go to. So like, I started at Casablanca, I went to Rabat, which is the north here, then Fez, which is here, and then we went to the Sahara Desert, which is down here, and then there's like some valley in the Atlas Mountains here, and then we went to Marrakesh and then back to Casablanca.
That sounds like a lot.
So like, if I had to plan that myself, I'd be like, fuck that shit. But I had a tour guide and he just planned everything, right? So like, it was me, Joyce, him, a car, and then he just planned the whole trip for us.
Damn.
So Morocco is surprisingly ultra tourist. To me, it was surprising because I didn't know much about Morocco, but their tourism is insane, dude. When you go to the shops and buy stuff, like if I go to the
He's
market,
like, they scam you.
they scam the fuck out of you. So if you go to a Moroccan market and you buy the thing for 50% of what they say the price is,
You still got ripped off.
You have to buy it for 20 or less % for you to be for you to not get ripped off. So let's say you get it really close to the actual value, right? Which is crazy because like, even Asian markets where I've been to, it's around like 30%. Like if you can get 30% off, it's a fair deal for both, right? Like you're both unhappy, you know, you didn't get as much, and they also didn't get as much, but you kind of understand that's a fair deal at that point, right? But in Morocco, dude, it's fucking insane. Like you can't even start your haggling at 50%. There's no chance. You have to start at like 10 or 20%.
Like if you start at 50, then you're screwed.
You're already screwed because they're only gonna win from there, because they'll say like, oh, that's too much, you know, that's half off, you know, and then they'll work their way to like, you know, 60, 70%.
10% is crazy though,
dude. It's fucking insane. So I know I'm kind of bashing about Morocco. It's a beautiful country, but I did not really like the shopping aspect of it. It's kind of too insane for me.
Do you have pictures from your trip that you can scroll through while you talk?
I do. And because it's so tourist, the food there wasn't actually as cheap as I was thinking it would be.
What kind of dollars?
They use the Moroccan dirham, or I don't know how to pronounce it. But so the rate is about 10 dirham is about 1 USD, right?
Okay.
But to buy like food, like a typical meal for me and Joyce would be about 20 USD. So that's about 13 CAD each, which isn't that crazy of a deal, right? Like you're going to, okay, if not a third world country, say a 2.5 or a second world country, right? It's definitely not a first world country, right? Like it's a little bit dirty, you know, it's a little hot, it's not comfortable, right? Like usually when you go to a first world country, you expect to pay the high cost because it's comfortable, it's safe, etc., right? So when you go to something like this, I didn't expect to pay that much, but it kind of makes sense because my tour guide was telling me like, you don't want to go cheap on your food because you don't want to fucking get the shits because your stomach's built a little different, right? Like they've been eating this stuff their whole life. And you know, their bacteria and stuff, they understand how to process it, whereas I don't, right? So I was like, okay, I understand. I can't go to the super cheap food.
So you can't like, do you eat off like street stalls and stuff?
Not really,
right?
Yeah, because it's like he warned against it. He said like it's not like they're bad or anything. It's just like our stomachs are different, right? Like I've handled this my whole life and you haven't. So I was like, okay, that's fair, right? But because of that, most of our meals was around that at least 10 USD point per person, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't that cheap because, you know, like I said, you're going to a lower tier country in terms of their safety and
like your money should go further there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but the food was amazing. So we had a lot of tagines. Tagines are these things. It's pretty much stewed meat. It comes in like a little cone shaped pot.
Oh, it's like this, right? And it has a little knob on the top.
Yeah. Tagine. So it comes in this cone shaped thing. It's super popular there. So one of them is the tagine, the other is couscous. I think the chicken tagine or the chicken couscous is their national dish. This here with the picture I'm showing is baba ganoush. What they do a lot there is really surprising is when they serve you tea, so their Moroccan tea is literally mint leaves, hot water, and then they give you cubes of sugar you can add. It was surprisingly good though. It was, good. But they just have an abundance of mint, I guess. So every tea you get is just mint leaves, hot water.
It's an invasive plant.
That's why I was told too, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like,
know that either.
If I could trade all my grass for mint, I would do that.
You can. If you plant one mint stem in your yard, eventually it'll take over your entire yard.
Yeah, that's what Joyce told me. I was like, "Hey, you know what? That's better than grass, to be honest." Because we, at least in Vietnamese culture and Chinese culture, we use mint a lot, right? For sure, in Vietnamese. Like
Vietnamese, I don't know.
Like everything I eat, I use mint.
My family uses mint for anything.
But if you could just pick it and just pour hot water, and that's tea, that's like pretty insane too. Right?
Are you full Chinese?
Yeah, full Hong Kong, I guess.
Oh, Honger. Yeah, so it was a fun trip though. We got to see a lot of cool stuff because we went to a lot of different cities. So Rabat is its capital city. So it's kind of cool. You see some palaces and stuff. We had like breakfasts every day. So like every hotel or riad we went to. So riad's kind of imagine a building with the open with the center open to the sky, to the ceiling's open, and then there's rooms all around. That's a riad. That's their traditional buildings kind of thing. So we had a bunch of that. I thought the highlights was the Merzouga Desert. So that's the Sahara Desert pretty much. I'm going to scroll to that. So we rode camels into the Merzouga Desert, and then we had like luxury camping in the desert. That was really cool. So the one thing I keep telling people, whoever asks, is the desert sand, the red sand in the Sahara Desert is something I've never touched before. And I feel like unless you've been to the desert, you will probably not experience it. It's like a different type of sand where like you touch it and like your hand doesn't get dirty.
Is it like the sand they put in hourglasses?
I've never touched hourglass sand unless you have.
I've never touched hourglass sand.
Yeah. But it was crazy. It was crazy being there, touching the sand. It was also crazy just like sitting there and like looking at the dunes. Like the picture doesn't really justify, but the dunes are like ginormous sand structure or like natural sand mountains, let's say. And you're just sitting there. And when we got there, it was around like 6 or 7 p.m. So it was quote unquote 30 degrees, but it was pretty breezy. So it felt like 25. So it was like really comfortable. You're just sitting on the sand.
So it wasn't like super hot in the desert.
Yeah, exactly. It was super comfortable. You're just like, putting your hand in the sand and just like feeling it. And it's very tranquil because there's nothing around. Like other than other tourists and camels, there's nothing, right? There's no buildings or cars.
Really fucking surreal.
It looks like a wallpaper.
Yeah. So you're just sitting there and it was cool because I was talking to Joyce after and I was like, you know what? I think this is the one experience where I believe, and I truly believe 80% of the people I currently know will not experience it in their lifetime. Because it's just, I don't know, like people aren't that adventurous. Like the people I know at least.
I agree. I don't think I'd ever go to Morocco.
Yeah. So it's like, wow, it's kind of cool that I got this opportunity to like see and feel all of this, right? So I thought the desert was super cool. And the luxury camping was awesome too. We had a tent with showers. So like this is our tent. So there's a bed here, and then on the side there's a shower and a toilet and a sink, and you can use as much water as you want. There's no like limit or anything. You can shower as many times as you want. So yeah, that was super cool that we got that.
Did you run into like any bugs or like scorpions or snakes?
We saw a big beetle, but other than that, like in terms of annoying bugs, not really. Like surprisingly, so maybe we got there at the right season where there's no bugs, but yeah, we didn't really like.
Yeah.
I saw maybe 2 mosquitoes at most while I was there, and they didn't really bother me too much.
Did you feel like someone was gonna break into your place while you stayed there?
In the tent?
Yeah.
No, like this is so far removed from civilization. Like,
well, were there other tents around you?
So yeah. So we had a group of like 5. So like 5 other groups. With us. So like a group might be 2 or 3 people, right? And no, not really. I mean, the doors lock on the tent. Like it's a tent, but there's like doors and stuff.
Like a wooden door?
It's pretty much like a metal frame structure with a tent canvas around it, almost.
So what was the door?
Huh?
What was the door made?
It was a metal door with like a lock and stuff. But no, I didn't feel unsafe at all. It felt very comfortable. Like this is also luxury camping, so like if you're paying for this, you're probably not, say, on the low side of life, if that makes sense. Like you're probably not super poor, and you're probably not, a local either if you're paying for this. Right, so you're probably a tourist and you probably have some money because you're able to pay for this thing, right? So no, it didn't feel unsafe at all. It was all locked up. I also bought a jalaba there. I actually really like it, but it's let me see.
Whoa, the thing you're wearing?
Yeah, I don't know how to fucking spell it. There it is. It's pretty much a hooded robe thing. It's like a common.
Oh, this looks like what you see in an Assassin's Creed.
Arabic. Yeah. I mean, obviously I picked the red one. But yeah, I got that. So that was really cool. We had like at nighttime at the desert camping, there was like music. We all sat by the fire and they played music and we all danced and stuff. It was pretty cool. Yeah. So unfortunately with the jalaba, it kind of looks like a KKK because it's pointed at the top. Yeah. It's just how it is. I got the red one, so luckily it wasn't white. Yeah, but. Yeah, I was telling Joyce, maybe I should round that top when I get home.
How much was it?
It was 20 USD.
Oh, that's a lot cheaper than it.
Which is still a deal, but it's like they obviously made money from that still.
Like you feel like, did you haggle hard for it, or do you kind of like give up after a certain point? You're like, it's not worth it to get an extra few dollars off.
I just said I'll leave, and then he gave it to me for that price. I was like, okay, whatever. It's so tough to say because a part of me wants the best fucking deal possible,
but you also like don't want to like. Almost like how the economy kind of
exactly like they're a third world country. Like you supplying them may or may not help them.
Right? Bro, this will feed my family for 6 months. Give me the $2.
Yeah. Well, no, like it's literally like a part of me thinks I want the best deal possible, but a part of me also thinks like, okay, to me, this 3 or 4 USD I'm haggling for means almost nothing to me. Like it doesn't change my life whatsoever, but it can change their life quite significantly, right? So then I was like, fuck, I don't know. So like I had to balance it, right?
In that case, $4 cheaper, please.
Right? It's like when you come into that balance, and it's kind of like, fuck, I don't know, right? Like because to them they are poorer-ish, like a large portion of their population is, right? And because they're so tourist based, like everything is based off tips, which I hate. Like if anyone knows me, I hate the tipping system. I've always thought of.
Do they take tips in Morocco too?
Everywhere in Morocco. I mean, it's weird too because in Europe they don't. So a lot of European tourists don't tip them.
Well, it's like that was one of my favorite things about Japan too.
Yeah, you don't have to tip.
I don't even have to think about it.
But Morocco
is. They actually care about their job.
Yeah, Morocco is so tourist based, and just the way the system is, like they're almost like begging for tips. Like they'll ask for it, kind of thing, right? So it's kind of like, it feels kind of shitty in that regards. Like I hate to say those things because I don't want to shine a bad light on Morocco. It's still a really amazing country and really, like, I would say anyone should try it. It's probably, in my opinion, other than South Africa, maybe one of the safest countries in Africa to go to.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe other than like Saudi Arabia if you're a guy.
Sorry, aside from where?
South Africa. But even South Africa is kind of dangerous too, right?
All of South Africa?
No, I'm just saying, like, if you had to go to Africa for your next trip, I would say the safer ones would be Morocco, South Africa, and maybe Saudi Arabia if you're a guy or something like that, right? Like, those are the ones that you're less likely going to have issues, right? The other ones are kind of sketchy, right? If you go to, like, Nigeria or Sudan or something like that, it's kind of, like, not too sure, right? But Morocco is very, very tourist-based, and because of that, they protect their tourists a lot because they know that's their source of income. Like, they understand that, right?
Yeah.
So if you go anywhere tourist, it's very, very safe. But once you get to like the slums and stuff, you're kind of like, oh, this is a little sketchy, right? Like when you go to like the smaller markets that's a bit more local, it's a little bit sketchy, right? But yeah, so the desert was my highlight. Then after that,
is that Aladdin?
Yeah, it was the turban. But afterwards,
Can you click into that?
This one?
Yeah,
dude, the sun was in my eyes the whole time. It was so Chinese. So after the desert, we went to Dades Valley, and that's really cool. So what it is it's the Alice Mountains, and the Alice Mountains look super red and dry and dead. But then the mountain flows through the water from the mountains flow through this valley, and in the valley it's all green. So like literally looks like an oasis from a movie, right? So it's like all dead mountains, and then it's all green in the middle. This is like the gorge, which is like a slit through the mountain, where it's a lot of tall, rocks and stuff. But yeah, like a lot of this valley is really, really cool. It's like a very unique experience too, just to see it. Like I didn't get to go down there because they're all farmers down there, so I don't think they want a lot of tourists down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really like those two were my highlights because it was something that was out of a movie, like completely out of a movie. Like the desert and the valley, I was like, whoa, this is like fucking Aladdin type of shit.
Can you imagine if you're an actor or an actress, you would see scenes like this all the time because you need to for your job?
Well, they're probably like numb to it now.
Oh yeah, true.
Right? Yeah, but the first couple times for sure, they're like, "Holy shit, this is my life now."
Yeah. They're like, "Oh, I need to shoot a five minute
or what
scene?"
if they're just on green screen?
Oh fuck, that would suck. We got VR for that now. We don't need that shit. We don't need to fly you out. Oh.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of which, there's a movie studio in one of the cities that we went through. It's okay. It's like there's all those movie studios that they're like, oh yeah, we did Gladiator. There's Russell Crowe here. Russell Crowe. I was like, dude, that was like 99. Like, no one fucking cares about Russell Crowe anymore. And then they're like, oh yeah, Game of Thrones decisions. I was like, dude, Game of Thrones was literally 10 years ago now.
I feel like people would still care about that.
Yeah, it was kind of okay. They had some
like diehard fans would care about it.
Yeah, they had a little bit more recent stuff, but it felt like it was a studio that they're trying to feed off the tourism a bit more than they're actually making movies. If that makes sense. Because like I've been to Universal Studios in LA, and that tour was super cool. Like it was super fun. Like you actually see some really cool stuff that's very interactive. They spend a lot of money making it, and I feel like they're still using some of those areas for movies. I was like, oh wow, that's directly relatable. And
it's like in LA.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. But here it just felt like, oh, they're mainly feeding on tourism. Kind of.
You could still see people filming, like
yeah,
if you go to there.
Yeah, it's LA. It's Hollywood, right? So, yeah, this was like some fortress that we went to. It was pretty cool. It's like a very old fortress and stuff. Like there used to be like 180 families that lived there. Now there's only 5. It's like UNESCO protected now, so it was pretty cool. So that's part of the Berber culture. I don't know all of it, but apparently the Berbers used to be like very tribal, so they always fought against each other. And then I was told the Arabics came and took over to make them not fight, so that's why they have an Arabic king now. And then the French came and colonized, and then they had a revolution to kick the French out. But then that's also why it's French, Arabic, and Berber as their main languages. But yeah, it was a cool experience. I had a lot of different foods. The other thing I really liked was there's this one mosque. So most mosques you're not allowed in because you're not Muslim, so you're just not allowed. But this one, they built it, and they still use it for prayer, but they also built it in the mindset of allowing tourists in to see it. It's the third largest mosque in the world, which makes it really cool. And it's in Casablanca. Like, there's not much to do in Casablanca except for this giant mosque, which is cool. Yeah, it's like absolutely massive. This thing that Joyce is standing next to, this upper level, is for women only because women can't pray with the men on the normal level. So it's like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's so empty.
Yeah, it's just because like while there's tours, there's no prayer. But right after our tour was done, they were gonna do prayer at 5:30.
I mean, like,
but even, there's no tourists.
Yeah, there's nobody else.
Oh, they're all on the. I mean, it's so big. They're taking pictures on the other side of us and stuff. Yeah, it's a pretty giant mosque. It's fucking crazy big. So.
It's like no one else in any of your photos almost.
Yeah, I mean, because it's also getting close to prayer time, so a lot of tourists are leaving. Right? Because like I think we're there right up until 5:30, and I think they were about to start kicking people out. So then the actual Muslims can go in and do their afternoon, evening prayer type of thing. But that was a cool experience. It was pretty, I wouldn't say life-changing, but it was like eye-opening, as in like I've never been in the desert, I've never been in the valley, I've never been to a Muslim-based country, right? Like I have Muslim friends and stuff, but I've never been to a country where like everyone's Muslim pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's super cool. Like couldn't eat bacon, so that was a thing.
Damn.
No bacon, but yeah, that was a fun experience. I think if people want to go, I think it's a good tourist thing, so it was fun. Yeah, I'm not sure what I want to do for my next trip though. That'll be exciting to think of.
Have you been to Hawaii?
I have. I went last year.
I think I could go back like every year.
I think it's very overpriced now. Like to live.
I feel like
there.
Yeah, it's definitely more on the expensive side, especially with the exchange rate, like the USD to Canadian now.
Yeah.
I've never been to Mexico ever, so
same here.
I'd want to go to Mexico.
Yeah, I've also never been to Mexico. But
Mexico's a lot of fun.
Like I would want to, but I'm not sure if now is the right time.
That's your next trip that you want to go on.
It's just I've always thought like right now is probably the best opportunity for me to see further out of the world, because I do think I will end up living in North America, so it's very easy for me to
close.
It's very easy for me to visit in the future. Like I've always wanted to do a West Coast drive. That's one of my like bucket list things. So drive from let's see which way I want to be. Oh yeah, I want to drive south. So I want to drive from Seattle or Vancouver all the way down to LA along the Gold Coast. So you actually drive like along the cliffside and you see like the whole coast and through the redwood forest of like Portland kind of thing. But all those things I've kind of like tabled it in for later because I'm like, you know what?
It's all North American.
Yeah, it's very close to me. Like the accessibility is like there. Yeah. And it's just driving too. Like I actually thought about it. Me riding a camel, it was fine, but if I was older, I'm not sure if I would want to. Like it might be a bit more tiring or sore and stuff like that, right? So I was like, I want to do the things where age might actually matter now rather than later, right? But yeah, fun trip. I mean, we all had fun trips this last couple of weeks. That was good.
You wanted to learn more about Alton, right?
Yeah. I mean, do you have any questions for Alton?
What was your favorite memory growing up? Or, yes, what's your favorite memory growing up? We'll start with that. I have a follow-up question.
Favorite memory growing up?
Who touched you?
That's an interesting question. I've never gotten that before.
Favorite memory growing up or the who touched you?
Both, actually.
Starts to cry.
But I'm only going to answer one of those questions.
Okay. It's the who touched you.
No, it's the same answer.
It's like same question to me.
Yeah.
Wait, did you live in Edmonton your whole life?
Yeah, so I was born here.
Oh.
My parents were born in Hong Kong.
Do you go back to Hong Kong often?
No, the last time I went back was 2012.
2012, okay.
Yeah, so I haven't been back in a long time.
I guess last time I was 2016. I was always curious about how like China would affect going to Hong Kong. Like now that they've kind of,
my mom has gone back to Hong Kong.
She said
last year, I think, or the year before, so like really recently.
Yeah.
And she said there's not much of a difference.
Oh, okay. That's good. I actually really enjoyed it. I actually really liked it. I thought I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. I would put it above Singapore for me.
Oh, interesting.
Because I like, as a tourist, going to all the different islands. You could literally spend a week there.
Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 different islands you can go to, and you can spend a good morning to like afternoon, late afternoon in each of the islands.
Did you feel like you were in a TVB drama when you went?
Yeah, dude.
Because of all the Cantonese
yeah. I felt like some of the places I went to, I was like, oh shit, I've seen that before. I've seen that in the fucking TVB shit right there.
I felt that way too.
Yeah. But yeah, it was good. It was fun. I personally really enjoyed it, and that is definitely one of the ones I do want to go back. Unfortunately, my Cantonese kind of suck. Like, I mean, it's okay because I speak at home, but I wouldn't say it's great.
All right, Cantonese for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, we'll struggle.
Gonna talk.
We'll definitely struggle here.
Um.
Are you still trying to think of your favorite memory?
Yeah, because no one's ever asked me that, so I've never really had to think about it.
Whoa, interesting.
Yeah, but I guess like. I don't know. I have a lot of memories about me and my brother growing up. We have like a 7-year age gap.
Oh,
So a lot of them were just like me bullying him when he was younger. But it was just like memorable, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just like, I remember them.
So you did it. It was you. Did you always play volleyball? Did you like play outside of school or just?
I did play outside of school. So I started in grade 7 and then from grade 8 to grade 11, I played club. So that was outside of school.
So like your parents just like, you just told your parents you liked it and then they just kind of like.
Yeah. So like I played in school and I told them I liked it. And then my coach in school told me about club.
Yeah.
So that was like playing outside of regular school. And then I told my parents about it. They let me sign up for it, luckily, because it's expensive.
Yeah.
Club's like $1 to $2K for a couple months.
Oh, what
like,
the?
Yeah.
That's
so it's
crazy.
definitely not cheap.
Yeah, that's
A
crazy.
lot of travel involved.
Yeah, my kid's only doing swimming lessons.
Piano lessons?
Like competitive swimming?
No. The fucking $20 shitty one. Did your parents like try to push you to do stuff or like piano?
They tried to push me to do piano.
100%.
I think I did it for like 2 months. I was like, I can't do this. And they're like, okay, fine.
You just told them?
Yeah. So they never really forced me to do anything.
I did for 6 years.
So how'd you get out of it?
I just
You said no?
Just at one
One
point,
day you're like,
I finally
nah.
just said I didn't really want to do this anymore, and then they just let me stop.
That was the same for like, that was Chinese school for me, I guess.
So
Like-
they just didn't let you for a while, and then all of a sudden they're like,
Like for a while, I was just like, I had to do it until I had other things that were happening. On
How long
the
did you
weekends.
take Chinese school for?
A while. I think I stopped in grade 8, but I took it like since I was like young, right? Like kindergarten.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also speak Chinese at home with my family.
Did you go? Which Chinese school did you go? Norwood?
No, like maybe one of the Saturday school ones.
I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Is that Norwood?
I did.
Yeah, that's the one I worked at too.
Yeah,
With my-
yeah, it's
with
probably
my
Norwood.
Well, I did too.
Yeah, me and my siblings used to work there.
I did Norwood from like grade 1, kindergarten, grade 1, up until grade 9.
Yeah.
Or grade 8, grade 9. And then
Was it
afterwards,
Mandarin or Cantonese?
Mandarin.
Oh.
And then I went to U of A's Saturday school after that until grade 12.
I did Canto up until a certain point, and then I did Mandarin at that school by Westmount.
Yes. That's
Is
that Norwood?
Yeah. that's
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was at like maybe a different school or something before for Canto when I was younger.
I see.
Oh, Sir John A. McDonald or downtown.
It's like, oh, I know what that school. It's
It's
like,
like
the
the
junior
blue,
high
right?
or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I did when I was
Nice.
younger.
Mm.
Well, I mean, that's good. Your parents didn't push you too much, I guess, dude. I mean, the
Yeah.
Chinese thing, I kind of
wish that they kept me in piano because like I wish now I could play piano, but I cannot play piano.
Yeah, but
that's how I
then
Something you have to keep up with, though, I feel.
Yeah, like
to remember the
Isn't it
songs.
muscle memory though at a certain point. Like,
no, but you have
to
to
an
replace
extent.
something in your life. Your life is only so much. Like you would say, yeah, I'd replace all the procrastinating, but that's not true. You would just procrastinate outside of that, right? So then you have to replace something else.
Yeah.
Right? Like I honestly wish I still did violin too, but then I also thought about it, I was like, I don't know, like all the stuff I'd have to replace, I'm not sure if I'd be willing to do that sacrifice.
Yeah, to
That's-
continue with it.
Yeah.
Like, I also took 6 years of piano, and then I also self-taught myself violin. But now I can only play, like, 2 songs on the violin,
All
2,
cross
3.
buttons?
No, like, Viva La Vida, and, like, 2 other songs. And then on piano, I can only play, like, half of, like, a handful of
but
songs.
like if you tried again for like say a month, you could
Oh, yeah.
play a lot more, right?
You're right, yes.
So it's like you'd pick it up like just as quickly.
Yeah.
Kind of, but then I also feel like the level is completely different. It's like you're playing chess, but in reality, the other people who are really good are like chess 3.0, right? It's like their way of thinking of the music is different too.
I think it's just like another skill that you could have.
I mean,
that you pick up.
it's interesting too because is it a memory skill? Is it a hearing skill? Is it a dexterity skill? Because like if you think it's just muscle memory, then it's kind of just dexterity, right? You're not playing and listening to know which note to play next. You're playing it because you're.
Oh yeah, like you just play. You just memorize like the music
and then,
sheet or whatever.
And then the
right?
next level, people would be like playing to listen to know what to play next. You know what I mean?
But those are the people that never quit.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Or they have
not like us
natural
losers. Us losers, we're fucking
hearing
quitters.
skill.
We're all quitters here.
All right, I think I have favorite memory. It's probably like growing up Christmas when I was really young, and all the excitement around Christmas Day, and like having all my family there, and then you just opening gifts all together.
Do you have a pretty big family in Edmonton, or?
My mom's side has like 6 or 7 siblings.
Oh, okay.
Oh, damn.
Are they all here, or?
Yeah, all except for one.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really good.
So they have a pretty big family here.
Yeah, nice. That's good.
They're really close with your family.
You'd have to define really close, but I would
To
say.
your definition.
How often do you see them?
Oh, I live at home, so every day.
Well, like.
Oh, you mean extended family?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I would say I'm not that close to my extended family.
Oh, okay. And
But
then-
my own family, I would say we're pretty close. But like with having Asian parents, it's not like very close where like we're talking about like very deep stuff. Yeah, like I don't talk about like my feelings with my family. Like that, not that type of close. But like I could share like what I'm doing. Like if I'm going out, like even when I was like 18, I'm like, I'm going out to the bar. And like,
and they didn't really care. Yeah, I feel like,
so, like I never had to like beat around the bush for stuff like that.
I feel like
or
Honger,
like makeup rules.
I feel like Honger
or
parents are a bit more chilled on that sense, where they understand the lifestyle.
I think
Just
it's-
because back in the 70s and 80s, it was very similar.
maybe
to
because
Honger.
I'm also a son too.
Oh
I feel
yeah,
like that plays
100%,
a part, right?
100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that plays a big part.
Yeah, that was very similar for me. Like as soon as, well, I'm also the youngest too. So like when I turned 16, my parents didn't give a shit. Like when I turned 16, I got my license, got a car, and then from then on, it was just like you do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I'm oldest, so growing up, I felt like I had a stricter on me versus my younger brother. But even then, at a certain point, they were like, "Yeah, you just go and do your own thing."
That's good. Were you a jock in school? I mean, you play a lot of
No.
sports.
No, I just played volleyball.
Oh, just volleyball. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, it makes sense. You were like you focus mainly on that because you play club and all that.
Like I
stuff,
played like badminton for fun, but like
Yeah.
nowhere near good enough to like play in high school or anything.
right?
Same with like basketball. Like I played it for fun, but
I see.
yeah, no football, no soccer.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So no, I wouldn't say it was jock. Only jocks to me were like football players, basketball players.
Yeah.
They have to have that personality. You mean?
Yeah.
The thing.
The gym class guys.
I don't know. I took gym in summer school. That was the only gym experience I had.
Oh.
So like actually that's one thing like I wish that I took like gym 20, gym 30 because it looked like so much
yeah.
fun
Yes.
after.
I did take those all three.
Yeah.
Gym 10, 20, 30. It was just because like I was at the point where I didn't need to take anything, but they're like, hey, you can't just be fucking around at school and like not actually take courses. So then like, okay, I'll take gym 20.
Did you take all the sciences?
I did all the three, not the normal science. I
only
did
did
the
two.
the biochem physics.
Oh.
I did all three of those, but then I didn't do the science.
I see.
Right, and then
I did
at some
all
point they're
of them.
like,
You did science 30 on top of the.
Yes, I
What's
did
the-
every
there's,
single
like, no
one,
points
just
there.
for fun.
Yeah,
Because I had so much
I was
like,
gonna
room.
flex on these.
Yeah, I had so much fucking room.
you could have did
You
gym.
didn't want spare?
You could have had gym class.
No, it's because I didn't believe in skipping class.
You could have went to gym class. Gym 20 is pretty
I had,
fun.
like-
I was also in IB.
I had
so
like full
couldn't-
afternoons off. I was
Yeah.
like, this is the best. Like grade 12, like full afternoons or full mornings off.
That
Yeah.
makes-
It's nice, but you realize how useless you are too. You're like, fuck, I wish I had that time back to actually do something. But I get it.
remember,
It's nice
yeah.
and relaxing and shit. But then, like, if I had my life now in that spare, I'd be like, holy fuck, I could do so much with my life.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but those are like the times that like you spend goofing off with your friends.
That's true.
That added,
That's
like,
true. You fucking around a
fun.
lot.
Yeah.
I don't really have much other.
Did you have like a follow up question? You said after I answered.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you're close enough. If you feel like you're close with your family,
Yeah.
can you tell me like share stories or other reasons why you feel like you're close? Like you could tell them, "Oh, I'm going
Oh,
out to the bar," but
Like
like,
how
what are
close
some?
we are?
Yes, what are some other examples?
of stories between us.
Yeah, or like things that represent
Oh,
your
I
relationship
guess
with
like
your.
one thing was like when I was going back to school or making the decision to go back to school,
Mm-hmm.
me and my dad talked a lot about it and like weighing out like the pros and cons or like what opportunities I'd be giving up to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like a long conversation we had because like with most Asian parents, like they just want like stability in their kids'
Yeah.
lives. So that was like a big part for them. It's like I did have like a good job.
Yeah.
But I think like with this like new generation or new generation, I guess, like you don't hear about people staying at their jobs for like 10, 20 plus years, right? A lot of it is like you jump back and forth. Whereas like for them, it's very common to spend like your whole life at the same company.
Right.
So I think like, yeah, we had a long conversation about that and where my career path could go if I did stay at my old job because it was a good gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you feel like
So-
when you had these conversations that he was like, you're really connected with your dad?
It's
these
just like
things?
I understood where he was coming from,
Yeah.
and then like I think he also understood where I was coming from, where like I wanted to take this chance, and that if I didn't take it, it would always be like back in my mind, like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
what if I tried this however
Yeah.
many years ago?
Oh, that's so nice.
I feel like I'm not sure what your family, but
Mhm.
I feel like let me make a generalization. I
Yeah.
think most Asian families, if you tell them you're going to school, they're like, okay, good, good, good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like when I told my parents I was doing my master's, like, okay, good, fair enough. You know,
Yeah.
it's like no questions asked. If I told them, hey, I'm gonna do some like random ass job, they're like, hey, hold up a second. But if I said, hey, I'm gonna take this random thing in school, I'm like, okay, fine, it's school. School's good.
did you have to, or do you work while you did your master's?
No. I when I graduated, it was kind of a shitty time ish. It was 2016. I mean, that's what I was told. It was like pretty shitty. A lot of my friends couldn't find jobs either. So my prof actually before I graduated asked me if I want to do it, and then they're like, "We'll pay you a stipend if you do it." I was like, "Okay, sure." So I ended up doing it, and it's a pretty good gig to be honest. At least in engineering, doing a master's is pretty good because one, they actually pay you like a real salary.
Yeah,
Like it's still not the greatest, but you don't
It's-
truly work any hours.
yeah, it's better than not getting paid.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
not like
like-
you got to pay for school or anything.
Yeah. Like to be transparent, it's like it was about like 30 grand for a stipend. So they pay you 30 grand a year to do research and stuff like that. And then that doesn't even count your teaching. So
Mhm.
if you do any TAing, a TA per semester for one course could range between $2,000 to $8,000. It really depends on what type of course, how much
Yeah.
hours you have to commit. And you could do like 2 courses a semester potentially. So that adds up really quick, right? And like none of that, like it's weird. I don't know how they set it up, but none of my stipend counts as income. So my only income came from teaching, and that was really low compared to
Yeah.
like minimum wage. So then I just didn't get taxed for like 2.5 years at all.
Oh, nice.
Right, which is like great because like at the end of the day, if I worked like a $60,000-$70,000 job and got taxed, I would have made the same amount as if I
Yeah.
went to school, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, that's not a bad gig kind of thing.
Especially like if it's tough to find a job
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
at that time.
So then I did that, and then after that I just started working and stuff. So not in the field as what I did my master's. Like my field, I would have needed a PhD to work in it. So
What do you do your master's in?
it's in aerosol pharmaceuticals. Yeah.
What
so,
kind of engineering did you do?
mechanical. So it's more like processing aerosols,
Yeah.
particle engineering, stuff like that. Just fancy words, but to me it doesn't mean too much, I guess. But yeah, it was fun experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I told my parents, they didn't really bat an eye. But I also think my parents don't really understand what I do. Like they understand the terminology of like engineer and stuff,
Mhm.
but I don't think they've ever really understood what I do and like my field of study. So, because like my mom worked in healthcare and my dad was just a laborer. So both my siblings were in healthcare, right? So like they all understood exactly what my siblings did, but for me, it's like very foreign to them, right?
Mhm.
So I was like, I also never really put the effort into explaining to them because it's kind of hard. My mastery of Chinese is only so much. It's like when you start explaining stuff beyond gravity to them, it's kind of difficult. You know what I mean?
Especially in Chinese.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then like you kind of get the basics of it and they kind of understand it, but they don't understand all of it.
But they just know you're an engineer, so they're like happy with it.
Yeah. They're like good enough. I mean, they, like I'm not sure what your parents, but my parents never really cared what path I really took. Like they just want me to work a stable job that I liked, kind of thing.
Like growing up, the only careers I ever heard of were lawyer, doctor,
Yeah.
engineer, accountant.
Yeah.
But then like I remember like grade 12, like afterwards, my mom came to me, is like, you know, it's okay if you don't actually go to university. Like you could go to like Nate and do like plumbing or like become an electrician or something.
She was
But,
on
like,
something.
That was like, but like I had, before that, like my parents had never told me like that, like not going to university was an option.
Dude,
Like to me, it was like university was like the end all be all.
yeah.
But like
yeah.
I wish I had more exposure to other career paths when
Like-
I was like in grade 12, like that were not like the most generic ones.
Yeah. Like, if you actually decide to be like a plumber or electrician,
Yeah.
and you started at high school till now,
Yeah.
you would literally be making like
You're making a really
you'd
good
be
amount of
making
money.
double or triple of
Yeah.
what normal people make because they make an insane amount.
Yeah.
Especially for that duration, you could easily have your own like contractor
and
business,
stuff. Yeah.
and it could be like you're always in demand type of thing, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Like I feel like I don't know. I always tell my little cousin that I was like, hey, there's no shame in going
Yeah.
to Nate and doing any of that.
Or
shit.
even like dental hygiene.
Yeah,
I had no idea how much money they made.
They make big.
Or like X-ray techs,
it's
like stuff like that.
the dental hygiene one's very interesting too because I have a bunch of friends in it. It's very specific to Alberta too. Like Alberta is one of
Alberta's
the
the highest
highest
paying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for dental hygienists.
Yeah, but I just had no idea like how much money they made.
I don't want to say their job's easy, but I mean, like they don't have to do any crazy thinking, and it's
No,
like
it's a very repetitive job.
yeah.
Yeah.
And considering how much they get paid, I feel like that's very valued, right?
Yeah.
Like however much they're getting paid for what they do, I just think it's like it's very good deal that they have. But I also think that ship kind of sailed too. It's like what we thought, or like you can't really predict the future. Like if you could, you would have went to computer right away,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
would have had a really good job, right?
Right.
But I felt like that ship almost kind of sailed too because the number of people in it now is like ballooned, right?
Well, that's
'Cause-
just like pharmacy. And
yeah, like all these things kind
right.
of balloon when people see that it's a really good job, but by the time they get the degree, it's already been 4 years later, and it's already like a surplus of people in there.
I feel
Right?
like I've seen that most in engineering.
Yeah, like engineering is crazy. Like I think half
the engineering is the most like overhyped degree that has,
100%.
like,
At
ever-
least here,
yeah.
at least here, I feel like they I don't know. I like to be proud of what I do, but at the same time, it's hard when they just let Joe Schmo also graduate the same degree as me, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck, like, what do you want me to do about it, right? And then the other thing is like, it doesn't matter. Like if you know someone in the field, you're gonna get a job, and if you don't, you don't. It doesn't matter if you have a 4.0 and that person has like a 2.5.
Yeah,
If
the
that person
GPA
knows
thing,
someone,
yeah.
he'll for sure get a job, and he'll for sure create a career out of it. Whereas like if you're actually good and you actually like the field of engineering, it actually doesn't always translate to success.
I think if you're good and you really do like the field that you're in, I think eventually you will be successful in that field, but it might not be as like quick as someone that has connections in that field.
Yeah,
I think eventually
I
you'll
think
get
it's
there.
very different because what we learned, we've only used a
Oh,
fraction of that.
yeah.
Like a very, very small fraction. Let's say like everything I've learned, if I don't learn that and I learn 8 months of project management, I will be a project engineer that makes bank kind of thing. Which is unfortunate because I feel like that field should be more valued and more unique, and right. It's just the stuff we learned is more into design, but the jobs out there are more into like just project management. Because there's such a surplus of it, they just throw those people into the roles that normally they hire like project managers or other stuff for, right?
Yeah.
That's
Or
it.
like, yeah, people can't find a job in technical, so then they go.
yeah.
Just
But
take whatever.
that's crazy too because I feel like that stuff is literally the hardest, like the technical stuff, especially when you get really advanced. And unfortunately, they literally get paid the least. Like if you go like compare one for one, a project engineer will get paid more than a technical engineer if they're at the like same number of experience, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy because the technical guy can maybe figure out the project side stuff. The project guy can never figure out the technical stuff. There's just no way. It's just not even close to their wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's also unfortunate because like a lot of shit they also like offload to India too now, which kind of sucks for some of the engineers here, like the technical side.
Oh my god, my company's doing that, but with Colombia.
Yeah, and it sucks because
Does that worry you at all?
No,
No.
not necessarily. They're doing all the menial tasks. Too.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they hired a bunch of people from Colombia to do all the menial, repetitive tasks.
Yeah, this is
So in a way, it kind of makes everyone's jobs easier.
Mhm.
this is the intermediary for AI. It's like we need someone to do the labor because it's still there until we figure out how to streamline that labor. Is how I feel. But also, at the same time, it's like the quality is just not there when you hire like out of country. It's not because they're dumb. It's just like they don't understand what you need because it's different, right? Like what they learn there is so technical and so different. Whereas here, you really just have to like follow specific codes and get specific things done. You don't need the whole world, right? That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, like at my old job, I worked in civil, so I did like structural design, but they would like offload when it got really busy. They would offload some of the drawings to like a third world, like I don't know if it was India or somewhere in China, but the drawings you get back would be like horrendous, but they would overnight it to you. Like they would get your drawings back overnight, but
you just fucking
they'd be nowhere
thing.
close.
You just take the PDF and it's just a fucking cloud of red all over it. And they're like, hey, fix this. And then you just send it back to them.
And then it repeats like 2 or 3 times. And then, so like, is it really more effective or faster? It's like, it's hard to say.
Yeah. Very tough to say. Very tough to say.
If your parents didn't make university seem like the only option to you, what other career do you think you would pick?
I don't know. I tell this to Tiff all the time, but like seeing orthodontists work, like it seems like it would be cool, but I guess, well, that's university one.
Yeah.
But the amount of like schooling and actual education you have to go through, I don't think I was ever cut out to be a doctor. So I guess if it had to be like trades, it would probably be like electrician, not plumbing though, because I don't want to deal with shit.
But they get paid more because they deal with shit. That's literally how it is. It's like, you want to clean this? No, okay, I'll do it, but you're paying me more for it.
Yeah,
they always say yes. So okay, in that sense, without that,
or like design. Not that I'm like a super like artsy person, but like graphic design and media design. But like those are just like are never careers that came across my head.
Yeah. But why would you pick them?
They just seem like cool. It just seems cool. But I'm not like the super creative person. Oh, I don't think I am, but who knows? Maybe I am.
Would you say you're more of a analytical person or more of a creative person?
Analytical. But I don't know if that's just because my career path is being an engineer.
Yeah.
Right. Which is like by default, you're more analytical in that sense.
Typically, yeah. Is that so? Would that be the same answer if I asked, like, if you could do any job you want, what would it be? Like, realistically.
Realistically?
Like, don't say like what I would say, like Prince of Saudi Arabia. Like, that's not a realistic job, right?
Like, what I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I feel like right now in my point in life, I don't really have like a dream. Because if I did, like, I could probably pursue it, right? Like, if it wasn't like being a dentist or a doctor, which it's not.
You still could, I guess, but
that's like nah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what like my dream or most ideal job would be. Yeah.
You never had a dream growing up, something that you're like, oh, I really want to do that, or
no,
just not Asian.
Just
not fail.
Yeah, not fail. Yeah, that's another big thing. Like in university, my parents were always like, "Yep, just make sure you don't fail, because I'm not paying for a school next time around." I'm like, all right, got it. So there's a lot of pressure to not fail.
That's pretty good motivation. Mine was kind of weird. Mine was my siblings kept thinking I would fail. They kept telling me, "You're probably gonna fail," because I was really lazy in high school.
Yeah.
So I think a bit of fire was lit under me to like, okay, I'll show you fucking fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my motivation, at least.
I had too many dreams, so that was my motivation.
Yeah, Viv's ambitious, which is good, but unrealistic at many times. Is how I feel about it. Is how I would phrase it. Unrealistic with her pursuits. I mean, they're not bad ideas that you have. It's just like not realistic at all. Anyways, we're gonna end it off since it's been quite a bit. I feel like I've learned a lot about Alton, which is good. I can definitely say that we have met outside of normal circumstances, so now we are friends, acquaintances.
That's his definition of friends.
Yeah, like if I just see you, if I only see you by chance, or like, you know, you went to volleyball, I went to volleyball, I saw you, I say hi. Yeah, we're acquaintances.
Yeah, I agree.
But then if we went out of our way to really see each other, to talk or whatever like that, then I would consider you more than acquaintance, at that point a friend. So it's like I have a lot of acquaintances at work. Not many of them are friends because I don't ever see them outside work.
That's a good definition.
Yeah.
I agree with it.
So that's good. I made a friend today. That's part of my... Just kidding. I don't have a
How do you do New Year's resolution?
I did last year and it failed completely. I didn't really...
Did you have like a number of friends you wanted to make?
I was going to say like how maybe a new person every month. And
I remember when you said that, I was like, that's fucking crazy.
That's 12 people. I couldn't do that. I literally couldn't meet 12 people.
Like, define like what is new, right?
I feel like I'm a very extroverted person, and if you were to say meet one new person a month, I would still think that's like a high quota. If you introduce yourself to the guy working at like the gas station, does that count? Right. Oh yeah.
Maybe.
But so like, you have to like really go out of your way to like
make a friend.
Oh, to make a friend, that's really tough.
I mean,
tough.
I didn't know if I worded friend or just like meet new people kind of thing. But I even failed at that, so I'm not even gonna try anymore. Like I'm just gonna go as I go kind of thing. Because I mean, I actually don't think it's that hard to meet new people. I think meet new people to become acquaintances, maybe not friends. I think that's pretty easy if you do once
that's
a month.
really easy.
But I just haven't. I mean, I'm just trying to think right now. It's like, yeah, I guess we got a summer student. I guess we kind of talk, but not really, which is weird too. So we got a new summer student at work, and for some reason, because she sits next to me, they say, "Hey, we do a buddy system where you have to help a new person."
You have to go to the washroom with them?
So I'm their buddy system. So when they have questions with work, they're supposed to ask me.
Yeah.
Except I'm not even doing the same work as her, and like I don't see her half the time.
Why don't you see her?
Because I work from home half the time. Well, not half the time, but like I work from home on certain days and stuff. And then like her work isn't even related to my work. Like,
doesn't she have like someone that she's assigned to?
Yeah, like she has another supervisor who's like giving her work, but then they don't want that to be your same buddy because they want someone like at the similar, not same level, but like not at the management level, pretty much.
Okay.
Right? And I was like, dude, like she has asked me in the total 2 weeks she's been around, or maybe 3 weeks, she's asked me like 2 questions. And I mean, I've tried to talk to her once, but she doesn't seem like she's a very talkative person. So I was like, okay, I'll just leave you to do your own thing.
Even like asking questions though, that's different from having conversation.
True. Right? Too. That's true. Yeah. So I mean, I don't really meet a lot of people, which I'm fine with. I'm not pushing any of that stuff. But yeah, that's cool. Anyways, cool. I got a new friend today, Mr. Alton here. And yeah, we're just gonna end the podcast. So see you guys later.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.